think women are innocent when it comes to sex. That's the biggest lie you've ever been sold. Every guy knows the same frustration. She swears she's not that sexual. She says she doesn't think about it much. She even acts annoyed when you make a move. And yet, you catch her lost in a romance novel at 2 a.m. or find a hidden playlist of steamy audiobooks on her phone. Not porn, not random websites, full-blown stories that turn her brain into a movie theater. Here's the part that keeps you up at night. She can want you badly one day, then turn cold the next without warning. One text from her ex, one bad angle in the mirror, one offhand comment from her mom. Suddenly, her desire vanishes like smoke, and you're left wondering, what the hell just happened? The painful truth is this: you've been playing the wrong game. You treat sex like hunger, straightforward, predictable, physical. But to her, desire isn't a straight line. It's a labyrinth, a story, a battlefield between what she craves and what she's been taught to suppress. Not simple but complex, not just physical, but psychological. And until you understand that, you'll keep missing the one thing every woman secretly wants, but will never admit out loud. Stay with me until the end of this video. Because once you see how female fantasies actually work, you'll never look at desire the same way again. You've been told women don't think about sex the way you do. That's only half true. They think about it constantly, but not in the way you imagine. For you, desire feels like hunger. See, want, take, straight line. Simple. You spot someone attractive, your body responds, and your brain is already 2 steps ahead. You don't need a backstory. You don't need context. One look, one curve, one spark of chemistry. That's enough to flip the switch. But for her, it's never that simple. Desire isn't a single spark. It's a whole electrical grid, running through past, present, and future all at once. When you're thinking about tonight, she's reliving the rules she learned as a little girl. Be sweet. Be nice. Don't be that kind of girl. At the same time, she's calculating what this moment might mean for her reputation. And somewhere in the background, she's projecting into the future, wondering if saying yes makes her valuable or makes her disposable. This is why she can want you 1 second, then slam the brakes the next. Not because she's cruel, not because she's confused, but because her mind is a battlefield of contradictions. Think about what she's been told since childhood. Be sexy, but not too sexy. Be available, but not easy. Be passionate, but never desperate. Want it, but don't want it more than he does. Be a lady in the streets, a freak in the sheets, but also somehow be authentic. That's like running a software program with 30 pop-ups screaming at once. No wonder her desire feels unpredictable. It comes with more terms and conditions than a new iPhone update. Here's where most men get lost. You believe her attraction lives only in the body. If she's turned on, she'll show it. If she's not, she won't. But her sexuality is woven into her entire psychological ecosystem. It's about who she was, who she is, and who she's still becoming. That's why her moods can seem random, but they're not. The night she jumped, you wasn't random. She had just crushed a project at work, felt seen in a meeting, felt powerful. That rush of validation unlocked her body like a password. And that week when she seemed cold, she saw an unflattering picture of herself. Or her mom made a snide comment about her weight. Or she walked into a room and felt invisible. One small trigger rewired her entire sexual code. Not biology alone, but biography and psychology. So when you think she's shutting you out, what's really happening is deeper. You're not competing with other men. You're competing with the lifetime of messages she's been carrying. And until you understand that, you'll always feel like you're chasing a moving target, blindfolded. Here's the part that flips your entire understanding upside down. For men, arousal is brutally honest. It shows up or it doesn't. No explanation needed. See something attractive. Blood flows. Hormones fire. Body ready. Mind follows. Straightforward, like a firefighter answering an alarm. You don't need to fake it, and you can't. Your body tells the truth before your mouth even opens. For women, it's nothing like that. Her arousal isn't a straight highway. It's a three-ring circus where psychology, physiology, and cognition all have to perform at the same time. If even one act slips, the whole show collapses. Her body might feel willing, but if her mind is anxious about tomorrow's meeting, it's game over. Her emotions might crave closeness, but one memory of how you snapped at the waiter last week can kill her desire instantly. She might even feel turned on until she remembers an old insecurity, and the flame burns out like water on fire. This is where men get blindsided. You think she's into it because she says yes, because she kisses you back, because she plays along. But here's the shocking truth. She can have sex with zero arousal, and you'd never know. While you need fuel in the tank to drive, she can run the whole ride on empty and fake the dashboard lights. Entire relationships have been built on this illusion. You thought you were a sex god. Meanwhile, she was mentally making a grocery list while moaning your name. Not deception, adaptation. She learned the world values your pleasure more than her truth. Since puberty, she's been trained to act turned on even when she feels nothing, to look sexy when she feels ugly, to be available when she wants to disappear, to moan when she's numb. You measure sex in orgasms and frequency. For her, those might not even be on the scoreboard. What matters is the 40 hidden conditions that have to align before her body lets her fully enjoy it. And if those conditions aren't met, she'll smile, nod, and play along, because faking it feels easier than unpacking the mess inside her head. That's why you can't compare your arousal to hers. Yours is direct, honest, immediate. Hers is layered, fragile, constantly shifting. Not a switch, but a sequence. Not biology alone, but biology plus psychology plus cognition. And until you learn to see that sequence, you'll keep wondering why one night she's all over you, and the next night, she's a million miles away. For everything you've been told about what women want. Muscles, nice guy vibes, expensive dinners, those are surface level. They might impress for a moment, but they don't unlock her deepest desire. Her fantasies reveal the truth. And they're not random. They're psychological blueprints, guiding what turns her on and why. Take the billionaire fantasy. Most men think it's about money. Wrong. Not money, but power. Not wealth, but the feeling of being chosen by someone who could have anyone. Christian Grey wasn't irresistible because of his bank account. He was irresistible because he commanded boardrooms, then surrendered to one woman. That's the core. She wants to be the exception, the one who breaks through a man who controls everything, except her effect on him. Now, look at authority. Not the title, but the mastery. The surgeon who saves lives with steady hands. The professor who commands attention with every word. The chef who runs a kitchen like a general. She doesn't crave the status. She craves the competence. That moment when you fixed her car, she felt a spark. Not because of your biceps, but because you proved skill. Competence is foreplay. Expertise is erotic. Then there's the beast who is tamed. Every vampire novel, every werewolf movie, every bad boy story sells the same drug. Danger made safe only in her arms. Not safe, but selective. He's violent with the world, gentle with her. He could destroy everything, but chooses peace because of her. She doesn't want you domesticated. She wants to be the only one who can touch the wolf without losing a hand. And don't forget the protector. Not macho posturing, but true defense. The man who walks on the outside of the sidewalk. The one who places his hand on her lower back in a crowded street. It's not about acting tough. It's about making her feel like the most valuable thing in your universe. Physical safety matters, yes, but emotional sanctuary is even stronger. She wants to collapse in your arms and know you'll hold her together. Finally, the mystery. The man who doesn't hand himself over too easily. Not cold, but distant enough to spark pursuit. While you're proving your availability with good morning texts, she's obsessing over the man who waits 3 days. Not because she wants neglect, but because she craves the thrill of unlocking a secret heart no one else has reached. Notice the pattern: power plus vulnerability, strength with selective softness, danger with hidden tenderness. Every archetype is the same equation, written in a different language. And if you keep trying to play the same role you did when you first met her, you'll wake up confused when the spark dies. It didn't die. You just failed to evolve with her fantasies. Here's the part men almost never see coming. Her desires don't stay the same. They evolve. What worked at 20 won't work at 30. And if you stay stuck in the same playbook, you'll wonder why the magic disappeared. Think about her early 20s. She's magnetically pulled toward the bad boy. He doesn't text back. He shows up drunk at 2 a.m. He probably has another girlfriend. Definitely has commitment issues. And yet, that's the whole point. Not safety, but danger. Not reliability, but adrenaline. Every ignored text is foreplay. Every mixed signal is an intoxicating thrill. She doesn't want a stable future. She wants stories that make her friends gasp. Proof that she's alive, desirable, and playing in the deep end. Fast forward a few years. After 3 heartbreaks, sleepless nights, and therapy sessions, the chaos starts to lose its shine. Suddenly, the protector looks different. The same guy she friend-zoned at 23 now looks like husband material at 28. Not settling, but shifting. Not boring, but safe in the sexiest sense. Security becomes passion. Reliability becomes romance. The ability to plan a future becomes hotter than the inability to plan a weekend. But here's the twist most men miss. She mourns the shift. Part of her still craves the chaos. She'll scroll through the bad boy's Instagram, feel that old pull in her stomach, then close the app and kiss her stable man goodnight. She isn't confused because she's indecisive. She's conflicted because both archetypes served a purpose. The bad boy taught her she was desirable. The protector teaches her she's valuable. Different seasons, different lessons. By her 30s, another archetype emerges: authority. Not his status, but his expertise. Not his title, but his mastery. The executive who mentors her by day and devours her by night. The surgeon who saves lives with steady hands, then worships her body with the same precision. The entrepreneur who builds an empire, then cooks her breakfast. At this stage, she no longer cares about potential. Potential is for college kids. She wants actuality. She wants the man who already operates at her level. and appreciates the woman she has become. Some women cycle through these archetypes over decades, others in a single weekend. Friday night, she wants the beast, raw, primal. Saturday morning, the protector, gentle, steady. Saturday night, the billionaire, decisive, dominant. Sunday, the mystery, distant enough to be earned. Here's the tragedy. Most men never evolve with her. They're still trying to be the bad boy when she craves authority, still playing mystery when she needs protection, offering danger when what she wants is decisiveness, not losing desire, but losing alignment. Every woman runs on a system more complex than you realize. Not one switch, but 3 pillars. And until you learn them, you'll keep guessing wrong. The first pillar is psychological. This is how she sees herself as a sexual being. Some women see themselves as goddesses, powerful, magnetic, irresistible. Others see themselves as damaged goods, trying to prove they're still worth something. Same act, different internal movie. For one, sex is power. For the other, sex is Ra. You're touching the same body, but her psychology is either opening every door or slamming them all shut. The second pillar is physiological. Her body's wiring, her nervous system's unique way of processing pleasure. Some women need 40 minutes of buildup. Others are ready in 40 seconds. Some crave gentle escalation. Others want intensity from the start. Not timing, but tuning. The problem? Many women don't even know their own physiological truth because they've been too busy performing what they thought they should feel instead of exploring what they actually feel. The third pillar is cognitive, and this is the sneakiest one. While you're lost in the moment, she's running mental commentary like a judgmental narrator. Is this position flattering? Does he notice my stomach? Am I too loud? Not loud enough? Was that move better with his ex? Her brain writes essays while you're trying to write passion. Not surrender, but analysis. And that analysis can shut down everything else. Here's why this matters. Most women aren't firing on all 3 pillars at once. One might be ready, while the others block the signal. Her body might be willing, but her psychology says no. Her psychology might crave it, but her cognition slams on the brakes. Rarely, on those unforgettable nights, all 3 align. And that's when she transforms into the goddess you glimpse once, then spend months trying to resurrect. Compare that to you. Your system is simple. Straight line. See. Want. Act. Hers is a labyrinth where every twist matters. Not a single key, but a combination lock. Every digit entered in sequence, or the whole thing stays sealed. And here's the catch. You've been spinning dials at random. She doesn't need you to spin harder. She needs you to spin smarter. Not force, but finesse. Not repetition, but recognition. And once you learn how to read those 3 pillars, you stop guessing and start unlocking. Here's where most men fail without even realizing it. You think foreplay starts in the bedroom. Wrong. For her, it often starts hours, sometimes days, before clothes ever come off. The CIA has a word for this: concordance. It's the sequence of events that leads to a specific outcome. For you, the sequence is easy. See someone attractive, get aroused, want sex, mission accomplished. A straight highway from point A to point B. But her sequence isn't a highway, it's a labyrinth. Every step has to line up perfectly, or the whole lock stays closed. She might need to feel intellectually stimulated before she feels physical desire. She might need narrative buildup before a single touch means anything. She might need emotional safety before her body even considers arousal. That's why grabbing her in the kitchen often backfires. You're trying to skip to step 10 when she's still on step 3. Think about it. Her concordance might begin with something that doesn't even look sexual. Watching you fix something that was broken. Competence is arousal. Seeing you stand up for her. Protection awakens her primal brain. Hearing you passionately explain something you care about. Intensity in one area hints at intensity in others. You thought the night began when you leaned in for the kiss. She thought it began 6 hours ago when you parallel parked perfectly. That was the spark that set the rest of the sequence in motion. Not body parts, but story. Not touch, but context. That's why she reads erotica instead of watching porn. She doesn't just want the act. She wants the narrative, the arc, the unfolding. This is why You Look Hot falls flat, but I haven't been able to stop thinking about you all day makes her melt. You're giving her story, not just stimulus. And here's the real kicker. She's been telling you her concordance all along. You just weren't listening. She mentioned that book she couldn't put down, the one with the dominant CEO who only shows vulnerability to one woman. She got flustered when the contractor fixed her sink. She melts when you take charge without asking. Those aren't random moments. They're roadmaps. But you're still using an outdated GPS, spinning dials at random, hoping something clicks. Not guessing, but decoding. Not asking, but observing. Because when you finally read her sequence, you stop playing sexual roulette and start playing to win. Most men believe all women respond to the same kind of touch. A kiss here, a hand there, maybe a little dirty talk. But here's the truth. Women don't just respond to what you do. They respond to how it fits into their stimulus type and sequence. Some women are narrative-driven. For them, words are foreplay. Story is the aphrodisiac. Don't touch her first. Paint the picture. Tell her how she's been in your head all day. Tell her what you want to do later, in detail, that makes her imagination catch fire. She doesn't just want to feel it. She wants to live it as a story, unfolding in her mind. Not skin first, but plot first. Others are sensory-driven. For them, the body is the gateway, but not the way you think. It's not about rushing straight to sexual zones. It's about waking up her senses. Run your fingers through her hair while you're watching TV. Place your hand gently on her lower back in public. Brush your lips against her shoulder when you walk by. These micro touches pull her into her body, making her hyper-aware of every nerve ending. By the time you finally escalate, she's already primed. Not explicit, but subtle. Not rushed, but layered. And here's the twist that shocks most men. It's not just about knowing the right ingredients. You can have all of them. Perfect archetype, perfect touch, perfect timing. But if you serve them in the wrong order, it collapses. Desire isn't a shopping list. It's a recipe where sequence matters more than the parts. Think about it. You can have sugar, flour, and eggs. But if you dump them in a pan without mixing, you don't get a cake. You get a mess. Same with her arousal. Wrong order, wrong timing, wrong setup, and it evaporates. That's why the guy who barely touches her can sometimes outshine the man who tries everything. He unknowingly followed her sequence. He matched her stimulus type without even realizing it. While you were busy throwing every punto in the playbook, he played one punto at the perfect time, and it worked like magic. Not quantity, but timing. Not effort, but alignment. And once you understand her type, narrative or sensory, and respect her sequence. You stop fumbling around hoping for luck. You become the man who just gets it. The one she can't explain, but can't resist. Because the secret isn't touching her body first. It's touching her mind, her senses, and her story, in the order her desire demands. By now you see the truth. Women aren't confusing because they're broken. They're confusing because you've been using the wrong map. Most men think the game is about tricks, pickup lines, routines, memorized moves. But here's the reality. Manipulation is cheap. It might work once, but it doesn't last. What lasts is mastery. Not pretending, but perceiving. Not forcing, but flowing with the sequence already inside her. Mastery is reading the blueprint she's already broadcasting. The books she devours. The movies that make her shift in her seat. The way she lights up when you fix something or take charge. These are not random. They're clues. She's been handing you the combination to her lock, but you were too busy thinking about yourself to notice. And here's the paradox. The more you try to impress her, the less it works. Not performance, but presence. Not trying harder, but understanding deeper. She doesn't need another man rehearsing moves. She craves the man who actually sees her. When you decode her archetype, when you respect her stimulus type, when you align the sequence instead of rushing it, she feels something rare. Understood, desired, safe, but not bored, wanted, but not objectified. That's when she opens fully. That's when the goddess you've glimpsed for fleeting moments shows up in full power. This isn't manipulation. Manipulation is lying to get what you want. Mastery is learning the truth so both of you can experience more. Manipulation leaves her drained. Mastery leaves her lit up. So the real choice is simple. Do you want to keep fumbling in the dark, frustrated that she shuts down without warning? Or do you want to become the man who reads the signals, follows the sequence, and unlocks her deepest desires without forcing a thing? Not a player, a master. Because here's the secret every man misses. Women don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be attuned. When you understand the language her desire speaks, you stop competing with her past, her insecurities, her mixed messages. You start standing out in a way no one else ever has. And that's the point. Not to trick her, not to overpower her, but to finally connect with her at the level where desire actually lives. This is mastery, and mastery is the sexiest thing you could ever offer. Thank you for watching. If this message hit you, don't just scroll away. Subscribe, dive deeper into our content, and start building the mindset that puts you back in control. Don't be the man she tolerates. Be the man her fantasies write stories about. Drop a comment below. What's the biggest struggle you want us to break down next? Let's build a brotherhood of men who rise above confusion and reclaim their power. See you in the next video.